Welcome to Auto Mundial, the weekly car news and reviews show. This time we're taking a look at BMW's latest EV, the iX1. It's the cheapest electric BMW you can buy, but is it a match for Volvo and Merc?
We're also checking out Porsche's wildest SUV yet and the latest Mercedes S-Class.
Plus some two-wheeled action courtesy of the new BMW R18. And we get our first look at the all-new Honda Civic Type-R. That's all coming up, but first, the news.
Ford has unveiled its latest police vehicle, an electric F-150 Lightning. Ever so slightly different from the Vauxhall Astras and BMW patrol cars we get here in the UK, the Lightning Pro SSV is designed for zero-emissions law enforcement. With more than 70 years' experience in building police cars, Ford says the truck will provide police departments with game-changing technology, such as onboard power sources and various police-specific modifications. Running and maintenance is also much cheaper than the existing petrol-powered cruisers.
While many manufacturers are now offering purpose-built electric cars, BMW is choosing to push ahead with electric versions of combustion-powered cars as well as its pure EV models. We've seen it previously with the iX3 and i7. And now we have this, the new iX1. Joining the lineup alongside the new X1, the iX1 or iX1X Drive 30e, to give it its full name, is the latest EV crossover. Rivaling the likes of the Volvo C40 Recharge and the Mercedes EQA. The X1 itself is slightly bigger than the old one, both in length and width, and is built on the same platform as the BMW 1 Series and Mini Countryman. The old model was never much of a looker, but this time both the X1 and its electric sibling look much more butch and SUV-like. The X1 gets a nice selection of engines, plus a plug-in hybrid model with a 55-mile electric range. The iX1, however, is more interesting. With i3 production ending, the iX1 is now BMW's cheapest EV and likely to be a rather popular one. That said, it isn't exactly a bargain. Prices start at more than £51,000, but that's a couple of grand less than the i4 and a whole £9 grand less than the next SUV up, the iX3. So what does BMW's most affordable EV offer? Power is sent to all four wheels by an electric motor on each axle, producing a combined 308 brake horsepower with a temporary boost function. 0 to 62 is completed in a very respectable 5.7 seconds onto a top speed of 112. And now, onto the big one, the range. With its 64.7 kilowatt-hour battery, the iX1 will cover up to 272 miles on a charge. That's the same as the Volvo C40, but significantly less than the 328-mile range of the Mercedes EQA. The cheapest BMW EV it may be, but there's nothing cheap about the interior. It's just as well designed and made as the cars higher up the food chain, with a bold 10.7-inch digital dash blending into a 10.25-inch infotainment system with the latest OS 8 operating system. The iX1 then seems like a worthy contender in this increasingly competitive corner of the market. Order books are open, with the first customer deliveries expected in early 2023.
When the Porsche Cayenne first hit the market way back almost 2 decades ago, it set a new precedent for the way SUVs could drive. It handled almost like a saloon car and went just as fast. Now in its 3rd generation, Porsche has decided to diversify the range with this, the Cayenne Coupe. While the likes of BMW and Audi were quick to expand their SUV lineups, Porsche took its time, but with the success of the BMW X6 and now the Audi Q8, Porsche has created a lower, sleeker version of its popular Cayenne. Starting at the front, it all looks pretty normal. The windscreen is slightly more raked, but it's barely noticeable. It's not until you get further back that you notice any changes. Sticking to the same recipe as rival coupe SUVs, the roofline slopes off towards the back, creating a sportier look at the cost of rear headroom and luggage space. At the back there are some more obvious changes. There's an adaptive spoiler and the number plate has been moved down from the tailgate to the bumper to create what Porsche calls an optically lower look. It works and emphasises the distinctive light bar. Inside, you'd be hard-pressed to spot any differences from the normal Cayenne. They both get the same dashboard and class-leading infotainment, but it's in the back where you'll notice the changes. The 3-seat bench has been ditched and instead Porsche has fitted 2 chairs, more in keeping with the coupe's sportier image. To try and solve the headroom issue, the rear seats are mounted 30mm lower than in the normal car, but taller passengers will still suffer. It's available with all the same powertrain options as the regular Cayenne, meaning there are some very quick versions to choose from. And now Porsche has released a brand new coupe-only model, and it's quite possibly the fastest SUV that we've ever seen.
It's called the Turbo GT, and the numbers boggle the mind. Its 4-litre V8 produces 631 brake horsepower, 89 more than the standard turbo. The top speed is increased to 186, and the acceleration is mind-blowing. This is a big 2.3-ton SUV that can do 0 to 62 in 3.1 seconds. Porsche was clearly fed up of Lamborghini and Bentley stealing its thunder as makers of fast 4x4s. It hasn't gone over the top with add-ons though. The body kit is slightly different, as are the wheels, but otherwise it's hard to tell that this is the fastest SUV Porsche has ever built. It is lower though, and the chassis has been fine-tuned to provide almost sports car-like handling. There aren't many, if any, SUVs that can keep up with the Cayenne, but this, the BMW X6M competition, isn't far off. Like the Porsche, it's a coupe version of an existing car, but it's still absolutely massive. It's powered by a 625 brake horsepower V8, which is good enough for 750 Nm of torque and 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. Equipped with 2 twin-scroll turbochargers, this is the most powerful engine BMW has ever put in a road car. This behemoth of an engine is connected to the 8-speed driving all 4 wheels. On the starting front there is the familiar BMW kidney grille and dual vertical bars which are specific to M variants. At the bottom there is a huge frontal cooling area to keep the power plant from bursting through the bonnet. The M-specific 21-inch wheels sit in front of some enormous new brakes, and the side profile features special vents and M door mirrors, while at the back there's a spoiler and some naughty exhausts. Inside there's plenty of carbon fibre on the centre console and the dash, and lots of reminders that you're in an M car.
It's the Porsche though that wins this battle. The BMW is very quick indeed, but it can't quite match the Cayenne. Electric SUVs may eventually go quicker, but for now the Cayenne Turbo GT is the ultimate performance 4x4.
After the break, the king of hot hatchbacks is back, plus the BMW R18.
Coming up, Honda's all-new Civic Type-R, but first some fun on two wheels.
When it was released 2 years ago, the R18 was BMW's attempt to capture a corner of the cruiser motorcycle pie, occupied by the likes of Harley-Davidson, Indian, Triumph and Moto Guzzi. And for the most part, it was well received and was a sales success for BMW Motorrad. Of a near 15% sales increase that the brand saw on its two-wheeled range last year, the R18 family contributed a large portion, according to the brand's own figures. Despite this, the original R18 was not without its problems. For instance, the bike had no fuel gauge and a lockable fuel filler cap was a £50 optional extra. This was a bit of a kick in the teeth to potential buyers, especially as it cost the best part of £20,000 without any options. But 2 years on, and with the BMW Motorrad market increasing in almost every country, there is a new model. In fact, there are two new models. This is the BMW R18B, and it is a clear step above the original. Firstly, the B now has a fuel gauge. No more consumption guesstimates or fuel-saving antics trying to make it to the next filling station. Actually, the R18B is crammed with tech. Along with the massive 10.25-inch digital screen, the bike also features Marshall speakers and radar-driven active cruise control. There's even a smartphone compartment on the tank so that you can connect your phone to the infotainment screen, which features Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Also on the tech sheet are 3 riding modes: rock, roll and rain, which each adjust the suspension stiffness and traction control. Other aids include hill hold control, drag torque control for downshifts, ride-by-wire throttle, keyless ignition, cornering lights and combined ABS. The R18B also has 2 panniers towards the rear of the bike, and while they are lockable, their awkward shape means they have a limited capacity of 27 litres. At the heart of the R18B is the BMW Boxer engine. First introduced in 1923, it's nearly a century old, but don't be thinking this is old tech. It produces the same 91 brake horsepower and 116.5 feet-pounds of torque as its predecessor, plenty for a bike this size.
The second of the 2 new versions is this, the Transcontinental model. Designed for 2-up touring, the R18 Transcontinental is equipped with a tall windshield, a wide seat, wind deflectors, driving lights, heated seats, highway bars, a 48-litre trunk and a passenger backrest. So what is it like on the road? Well, at 345 kg you wouldn't expect it to handle like an S1000RR, but it really isn't too bad. Turning at low and high speed is effortless thanks to the low weight distribution and the high footrest, meaning that you can lean into the corners. All the torque is at the bottom end between 2,000 and 4,000 revs, so it's very easy to ride, with gear changes almost becoming unnecessary.
Overall, the new R18 vastly improves in many ways in comparison to its predecessor and is a real match for the likes of Harley-Davidson and Indian.
Bentley and Rolls-Royce have long set the standard for luxury limos. But with the starting prices for these big, brash behemoths starting from at least 150 grand, is there a cut price alternative out there? This is the new Mercedes S-Class, the go-to for airport limo services and world leaders alike, and Germany's answer to the British Luxo barges. On the outside, it's certainly more understated than its English rivals, with a new svelte look with elegant lights and smooth lines throughout. It's classy, but still a head-turner. However, if this is to be a real S-Class, it's on the inside where it needs to impress. Open the doors to have a look, and you won't be disappointed. There's all the wood and leather you could ever dream of, and a stylish dashboard with a beautiful 3-spoke steering wheel. The standout feature, though, must surely be the enormous infotainment screen. The 12.8-inch touchscreen uses Mercedes MBUX operating system, which houses a vast array of tech. It can track your eyes, hand gestures and body language, allowing you to operate the system without leaving grubby fingerprints all over the screen. There's loads of space throughout the cabin, while massaging seats with 10 different programs and optional Burmester sound system will keep you as relaxed as possible. Other tech includes a 12.3-inch digital driver's display with 3D functionality, a host of radar and ultrasonic sensors and cameras to keep you from crashing, and customizable ambient lighting. With the new EQS filling the role of electric limousine, the S-Class is available with either a 282 brake horsepower diesel motor or a 429 brake horsepower petrol straight 6. With this under the bonnet, the S-Class can hit 62 from rest in 4.9 seconds. It's the S-Class, though, that takes the German limo crown.
But how does the impressive new S-Class stack up against this, the formidable Audi A8? Well, it isn't quite as tech-filled as the Mercedes, but it provides a real sense of occasion with a style all of its own. The interior is beautiful, if not quite as jaw-dropping as the Merc's. All models come with Audi's 48-volt mild hybrid system, allowing for up to 50 miles per gallon for the 50 TDI diesel model. This is lowered with the optional bigger wheels, but we'd still opt for standard small alloys for the best possible ride quality. After all, this is a car primarily designed to be comfortable. In that vein, the A8 needs to be as quiet as possible. It's therefore fitted with Audi's familiar 48-volt mild hybrid system, which enables you to effortlessly glide between traffic lights.
It's the S-Class, though, that takes the German limo crown. It's good looking, endlessly luxurious and packed to the rafters with incredible tech that you can and will actually use. And if all that isn't enough, they'll even build you a bulletproof one.
The world of the hot hatchback has been enjoying something of a renaissance recently. We've seen new versions of old favourites and some new entries entirely, ranging from souped-up city cars to all-wheel drive monsters. The sweet spot, though, has for some time been this, the Honda Civic Type-R. Okay, it isn't the prettiest car out there, but its blend of accessible, engaging performance and affordability makes it one of the all-time greats. A tough act to follow then, but its replacement is here. This is it, the 2023 Honda Civic Type-R, and it has some big Michelins to fill. Obviously, it's based on the new Civic, and as such, it looks much more modern. The Type-R editions are infinitely more tasteful than before, with a less aggressive body kit and fewer fake vents. It still has some of the old car's madness though. There are 3 exhaust pipes, for example, and a massive rear wing with die-cast aluminium mounts. The key to any fast Honda though is the engine. The new FL5 uses the same one as the previous FK8, this time producing some extra power at 325 bhp thanks to a new, more efficient turbocharger. Details on the new Type-R are limited for now, but it's almost certainly going to beat the old car's performance figures of 5.7 seconds to 62 miles per hour and impressive top speed of 169. Like the old car, the recipe is pretty simple. A 2-litre engine and excellent chassis with power sent to the front wheels only. It's easy to be lured towards the all-wheel drive Golf Rs and A45s of this world, but if it's anything like the old one, the Civic will be much more fun.
Join us again next week on Auto Mundial as we take a look at the all-new Ford Ranger.